Hello one and all, welcome to a Galaxy Man Show interview show. So for my guest now is this incredible singer and songwriter, Vince Thomas, who has created this incredible collaboration song called Midnight Blue with the incredible and amazing Stephanie Angelini. I'm about to invite Vince on the Galaxy Man Show now to have a chat and talk about Midnight Blue and talk about other previous songs that he's created. So yeah, here we go. Hey Vince,
Hey,
what's up?
not much, man. How about you?
Yeah, nothing much really. Just getting ready for this interview.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
So thank you for coming onto my show, Vince. It's a pleasure having you on my show. So to people that don't know who you are, Vince, if you can give a bit of backstory about who you are, and then we'll dive right into the questions.
Sure, sounds good. My name is Vince Thomas. Originally, I'm from a small town in Columbus, Ohio, but I'm grown up, moving around pretty much my whole life, and I love doing singing. And since then, I didn't take it seriously until about roughly 12 years old. And some scouts approached me and wanted me to go do some talent stuff over in LA, and I went out there with my family to do it. And we've been here ever since.
Awesome. We'll dive right into the questions now, Vince. So for my very first question, so you have actually done a collaboration song called Midnight Blue with the incredible Stephanie Angelini. What was it like coming up with the idea of creating this song called Midnight Blue? And what were you guys? How did you guys come up with the idea of creating Midnight Blue?
That's funny, man, because when we were doing that song, it actually came about through a mutual friend that I work with, Preston Glass, who's also a producer that Stephanie also worked with. I was working on another song with him and Russ Regan called Anything and Everything. And Russ Regan was the one who basically sort of discovered Elton John and brought him here to the States to blow him up. And then from there, in terms of how the song Midnight Blue came about, Stephanie was kind of just writing a bunch of songs, and one of them that she presented to Joe Mendica, who's the producer and songwriter on this song as well. And he's like, "Oh man," he's like, "I'm trying to think like who could we get to like do this song?" And they're going about it back and forth with each other, and then they saw my stuff that I did with Russ, and Joe's like, well, why don't we get Vince and see if he wants to join in and do a collaboration? I'm like, dude, that's awesome. Let's do it. And I never had an Australian collaboration. So for me, that was a huge honor especially from the States to Australia too. So, and with the internet nowadays, it makes it so much easier to do stuff now. And I think the title Midnight Blue was mostly what Stephanie had in mind, and I was kind of like trying to feed off of what her vision was, and we both like co-wrote the song. We were just like writing down like which line would fit best with like the verse, pre-chorus, chorus, and it turned out amazing with how all of us did it together, Joe, Stephanie, and I, and we're really happy with it.
Awesome. Well, yeah, I have to say Midnight. I actually listened to Midnight Blue, and it was truly incredible. And you guys have done such a fantastic job with making this incredible song. So I just want to say thank you to both you and Stephanie because you guys did such an incredible job. So thank you so much.
Oh yeah, you're welcome. And it's not just one; there's two versions.
Oh yes, there is. Yes.
There's
So.
the original, and
Mhm.
then there is it's the Midnight Blue Midnight Mix.
Yes. So on to my very next question. So why do you recommend people who haven't listened to both remixes of Midnight Blue, why do you recommend people listen to Midnight Blue in the first place?
I think because it tells such a unique story about, being in a long distance relationship. And I feel, especially with a lot of people in the world today, there's so many ways to relate to that, because every time I look up at the Midnight Blue, all I think about is you. And that's what the message is about. And it's always having that person in mind, no matter how far away you are. Even if I'm traveling to do business, or if I'm going somewhere and I can't can't have that person with me, they'll always be there with me in, you know, my head and my heart, and they're there for me always.
Awesome. So on to my very next question. So you actually created this song called Back to You. What was that experience like creating Back to You? And how did you come up with the idea of creating Back to You?
Oh, back to you is it's an interesting song. I mean, because I was working with a producer I worked down there in San Diego. He goes by the name of Gary Devon Dotson, who owns NVE Records, and he's such a nice guy. And when we were writing the song "Back to You," we were just kind of playing with the idea of meeting this person, and you were so intrigued by meeting them that you wanted to keep going back to them. So that's kind of that. It's their chemistry that you felt with that person.
Awesome. So on to my very next question. You actually created another song called No Goodbyes. What was that experience like creating No Goodbyes? And yeah, how did you come up with the idea of that?
No Goodbyes, I worked on with a couple Italian DJs. There's Silvio Carano and Marcel, who also was on part of the remix as well. No Goodbyes was, I had a track, and I would just sit there and listen to a lot of the EDM tracks, and just based on how I was feeling with the production of that song, like that's what came to mind. No Goodbyes is like kind of in the same vein of Midnight Glue. It's like longing for that someone, even though like they're not there with you and you miss them like every day. So No Goodbyes is like, it's kind of like a sweet, how do I put this? It's like a sweet love story about, you know, being there for that person, even though they're not there with you. And at the same time, it's they're not there present with you, wishing that they were there with you.
Awesome. So on to my very next question. You actually created a music video called Selfie, which I actually checked out, and it was another incredible smash hit. What was that experience like creating this song called Selfie?
Oh, thank you. That song was another one that I did with Gary, that I did literally just on a backdrop and in my living room, and we just had I'm asking around like all these girls, and like we only had like maybe like 5 minutes to like in the living room to like really record everything. But the way the song came about was we had this mutual friend that we both know that was really into herself, and she always loved taking selfies, and the song kind of came about when we were joking about it, and we're like, yeah, let's do a song about this. Let's talk about how she's so into herself on the phone, and like, you know, and I don't want to rub people the wrong way. I just thought it was a cool idea, and like, you know, and doing the music video with it was just kind of, it just like the way it happened, it was just so overwhelming, and it was just like I didn't know if it was going to be a parody or if it was going to be more for like a real song. Even like it's more, it's that story, and I just thought it was fun.
Awesome. So on to my very next question. As you mentioned before about anything or everything, how do you come up with the idea of creating anything or everything? And what is the meaning behind this song?
Well, let's see. So the song "Anything and Everything" was really it's one of those songs that it's got a very kind of like old school Motown vibe with it, and I wanted to try to be true to that song in that way. And the way "Anything and Everything" kind of came about was, you know, when I worked with Mike Winchester, who who executive produced it, as well as Russ Regan. and then Preston Glass produced it, and then the Mike Winchester, he had the world-renowned pianist Giovanni Moratti, and he wanted to play on the track with me. I'm like, okay, let's do it. Hey, I mean, I'm all for a world-class pianist, man. I give the man mad props of what he can do. He's phenomenal. But the overall song itself there were so many live instruments that we had to record on that track that like we were just like waiting hours and hours and hours until I could eventually sing the song. Then once I got in there and I did my thing with the song, it felt really good. And then from there, we anything and everything it's talking about, just spending time with that person and living in the moment with them, and saying anything and every like there's a time, there's a place for anything and everything.
Awesome. So on to my very next question. You actually created a very incredible music video, another incredible music video called Living Life. What was that experience like, creating Living Life?
Oh, living life. That was, oh man, that's a trip. That's like going back. God, what year was that? That was like, ooh, that's like 2009, I think. It was 2009, but it was right after. Yeah. So I did that song, and we were kind of trying to do it like we were sort of trying to lead it in like a sort of like a movie, like leading into a music video. That's what the premise was a little bit. But the overall message for Living Life for me was, just taking, just forget anything materialistic that you think is important, and just only care about your friends and family, and living your life and sharing those moments with them, because you don't know when you're going to get those kind of moments back.
Awesome. So on to my very next question. Who inspired you as a person to get into creating music and performing?
Who inspired me? I mean, I grew up listening to all different types of music. So I would say just a lot of the artists that I listened to, like growing up, I listened to like Ray Charles, Roy Orbison, Elvis Presley, even some classical music like Andrea Bocelli. He's also one of my favorite vocalists of all time. He's got a voice that's as clear as a bell. And I'd say one of my other idols too is Justin Timberlake. He was a big influence on my life, and wanted me to, just for me to see what he did with his career, like that's like the path I wanted to do.
Awesome. So on to my very next question. What have you learned about yourself as a person, especially during COVID this year?
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a really good question. I'd say I think self-growth is probably the most important, and being able to really kind of do a lot of self-reflecting and look at like what can I do to better myself, not to be like egotistical or any way. It's just more of how can I better myself during these trying times with what's going on with the music industry, the entertainment industry, and being able to open yourself up to the world at this point. And the internet's a great tool for that, to being able to express yourself and share those feelings with people that you feel that can relate to what they're going through. And I feel like the best thing about it is just trying to stay positive. That's the big thing. And there's a lot of negativity that's been going around, and it's important that you try to stay clear from a lot of the negativity and just try to focus on what you love and what makes you happy.
Awesome. So on to my very next question. If you could work with any top 3 music artists in the industry, who would they be and why?
Oh man, I mean, I gotta give it to Justin Timberlake. That's a big one. I mean, that's someone I always wanted to work with music wise. He's just so meticulous with how he does stuff in the studio. He knows exactly what sounds he wants in terms of the production, the editing, and I feel like another really good one too is Timbaland, since they both collaborated, and I love all the beats that he does too, and it's just so amazing that like that he's able to take something so simplistic and make it so catchy at the same time. And the other one in particular that is really starting to grow on me is Ed Sheeran. And I like a lot of Ed Sheeran stuff just because he's able to think outside the box, and that's what I like about him a lot. And I feel like if him and I kind of met face to face and we were just, you know, bouncing ideas and, you know, songwriting and collaborating, I feel like I'd be really good. And even Post Malone would be another great one too. He's out there, but I love him. I love him.
Awesome. So on to my very next question. What are the positives and negatives into the music industry, and how do you get through those negatives as a person?
Sure. I mean, most of the positives that come out of it, it's you being able to showcase yourself in front of, I mean, if it's one person, if it's 100 people, 1,000 people, and just being able to share your message and, you know, being able to spread love and, you know, happiness all the time. And I feel like a lot of the negative side is too sometimes is you get people online sometimes that, you know, can either try to bring you down or, you know, they'll say bad stuff about you, and you just can't pay any mind to it, because at the end of the day, you're doing what you're doing, and you're you know, you're just following what you believe is the right thing. And I feel in terms of going through stuff like this, especially during these crazy COVID times, it's like we've gotten to that point where we've been so isolated for so many months. We've been so isolated for so many months. We've been through, you know, all the stuff that's being put out there through the media, and, you know, all these crazy stories that go around. And, you know, it just gets overwhelming with too much negativity. And it's just saying, okay, I'll watch it for a little bit, turn it off. I'll work on what I love and what I like to do. So if you're having one of those days where you feel like, oh God, it's doom and gloom, it's always negative all the time, just tell yourself, look, you're in control of what you are in control of. No matter what anybody says out there, like, take care of you.
So on to my very next question and very last question. So what's next for you after COVID, like music-wise, with your career?
Oh, definitely. I have a lot of new projects that are still in the works right now. I'm still, even though I'm working from home mostly, I have a bunch of new projects I'm working on with music. I have a bunch of acting stuff I'm working on as well, voiceover, and yeah, just constantly putting out new content. I'm working on it as we speak. I mean, you got the mic back there and all this stuff as well. I mean, I'm constantly getting new material being sent to me on a daily basis. So just working on, you know, writing new material, and yeah, just going from there, and I'm hoping that the world opens back up next year so that I can start doing live gigs, or even, you know, being able to just go and travel again.
Awesome. Well, can I just say thank you so much, Vince, for taking the time to come onto my show. It means a lot. Whoever hasn't listened to Vince's work, he's truly one incredible and inspirational person and singer. So definitely go give Vince the amazing and incredible support. Any last final things or thoughts that you would like to say to people?
Sure. I'm just saying, just have fun. I know it's the holidays. I know we're going through a crazy time right now, but just take the time to really connect with your family and your loved ones, and, you know, just spend each and every moment with them, even if it's just a Skype call, a FaceTime call, a Zoom call, or even just calling on the phone, and just letting them know that you're there and they're not feeling sad about anything. And, you know, if you want to DM me, if you guys want to DM me, if you guys feel like you're having a bad day, or if you want to say how happy you are, you can. I'm always right here. You guys know that. I'm always here for you. And know that I'll love you no matter what.
I don't understand Why you make me feel this way? Baby, take my hand, let's just run away.
You don't say a thing, you just bring your love to me. Is it just a dream? Do you feel it too? In the midnight blue, all I want is you. In the midnight blue, I can't resist you.
Wanna fly away, wanna see the moon, wanna take that train on, wanna be with you.
In the midnight blue, all I want is you. Just another day, thinking about you all the time. Fill my hungry heart, let me feel yours too.
You don't say a thing, you just bring your love to me. I just wanna know